So here's a jota, and there was another number that I did to have contrast with my flamenco repertoire. I love this shot because it's my alegría, so look at the smiles on all of us. That's Julio de los Reyes playing the guitar, Pepe Segundo singing, and of course me doing saludos de mi alegrías. And wonderful singer, Benito Palacios. As one of the cards got full, so I'll start all over. Maybe it could work. Anyway, here I am doing bolero. I started to talk about that. This is doing classical bolero and seguidillas in concert. This is jota. My first solo concerts, I did a little bit of everything besides flamenco. My classical, my regional dances, my classical pieces, and my compositions to classical music. Again, I'll show this. This is Alegrías. And I love this picture because of the smiles, and it was joyous. That was Julio de los Reyes and Pepe Segundo and myself. There we are, jota. I set this jota for ballet company, Orange County Ballet, and they did a wonderful job. This was the Glinka's jota, Russian composer that wrote that beautiful jota, and it was myself and 16 girls, and I set it. I had 16 flowers, and came out thinking I would find one girl, and all of a sudden 16. So it was a fun number. It was a little bit of a pantomime jota. Here I'm in doing a grand jeté in the classical bolero. I had good ballet training, thanks to Carmelita Marachi and Misha Panayev, wonderful ballet teachers that I had. Give them credit. Here I am dancing the sonata, the fandango of Padre Soler. Virginia Moore playing the harpsichord, wonderful artist, and we love doing that. And I worked, did a lot of Baroque pieces with her, Bach Toccata and Fugue, and Chromatic Fantasy and Fugue. I was in a Baroque period, and I was choreographing a lot to Baroque music, mostly Bach, but Vivaldi and Pachelbel and all kinds. This is the Oregon Opera. I was doing Carmen. I was guest artist. I cannot remember the girl's name. She lived there in Oregon, and we put a number together very quickly. So that was fun. Here I am leaping through the air in the jota. Thanks to Pedro Altorin, I learned a lot of jota from him. And I love that jump where you jump up and you bring one leg straight out and then the other leg underneath it. I was able to do that in those days. And finally, another part of Bach Toccata and Fugue in D minor. I think this was at the Flamenco Festival in Albuquerque the first year. Great time. Back again, this is the 6th panel, the 6th collage of photos, 6th of 8. And so again, as I say, they're not in any particular order. These are photos over many, many, many years of my career. Teo Morca, that's me. And here I am dancing in the Café de Chinitas. I'm dancing my Alegrías. And there's Luis Habichuela and Felipe Baya in Portuguese, and La Chuga, and Teresa Maya. And that's the first cuadro. And that was in the Café de Chinitas with many wonderful memories. Staying in the Café de Chinitas, here is La Chunga and I saluting each other after we danced together. probably some tangos, as she wears the typical Gitana dress. And that's El Monchi back there playing the guitar. Dropping down here, here is Maria Gloria again. This photo was taken in concert in Madrid. I think this was the Concierto de Aranjuez, second movement, the classical section. And this was a Pilar Lopez company. This is also the Pilar Lopez company, the final series of fandangos that we did in concert. And this is the whole company there, all the different dancers with Pilar Lopez. And again, this is Pilar Lopez, and here we are dancing Ravel's Bolero in the Cuevas de Nerja. And this was amazing. Caves. We were one of the first companies to actually dance there when it was opened up as a tourist attraction. Here again is with Pilar Lopez. This is Albaicin with Alejandro Vega and Pilar Lopez and I, a trio dancing in our concert in Madrid. And this was a wonderful number. Here is La Chunga and I dancing por seguirillas. That's El Indio Gitano singing in the background, and that guitarist there is Manzanito, very young there. He's about 17. Back of him was Felipe Maya. And this is La Chunga and I dancing seguirillas together. This is one of my solo concerts at the at a big opera house that had opera backdrops for each of my numbers. It was really great. Pepe Segundo singing, Roberto Rico playing, Benito Palacios, and Julio de los Reyes. And this number that I was dancing was a combination, it was La Caña, and followed by an homenaje Albanes dancing Asturias, Leyenda. This was at the opera house. Here I am dancing por fiesta at the end of my alegrías. Pepe Segundo singing, and Julio de los Reyes, Benito, and Roberto playing the guitar. These were great solo concerts. These were what gave me inspiration to go to Spain. After this was 1960, first part of 64, and then I went to Spain in 1964. This is interesting. This is from the partner that I'm dancing with is a girl from the Café de Chinitas. This is a television show in Madrid, and we're dancing por fiesta after an interview. And here's the interview. TVE, there was El Portugués, and it's kind of a Johnny Carson type show, interview, and we talked and then we danced. And this was in Madrid, TV2. Lots of great memories. Okay, this is I'm dancing Asturias in the Cuevas de Nerja, and I know it's kind of a weird angle to see it, but it's a photo there, and that was an amazing experience to dance with the bats flying around and everything. Here's another opera that we did. I can't remember actually. It was for David Lachine and Rybuchinska, Tatiana Rybuchinska, and Misha Panayev. These were Russian dancers from the Ballet Russe, and I was their guest artist. And this was dancing a piece to, this is a Capricho Español of Rimsky-Korsakov. Here I am again in the opera house and dancing Caña por Soleares, with the three guitarists, Julio de los Reyes, Benito, and Roberto. Here we are again in the TV show improvising por fiesta. I can't remember the girl's name. She was just picked out of the cuadro to go with me to the TV show and to dance with me. So we improvised a little bulerías after the interview, which was this interview here, and then we went over here and danced. And this final photo is a photo of me at the ending of my Asturias in one of my concerts. Great times. So this is a collection of these photos that were glued, and a panel of 8 of them that were in the foyer of a theater in Costa Rica called Teo, Teatro Teo, which stood for Teatro Eugene O'Neill. It was in a center, a U.S. Costa Rican cultural center. Okay, here we're starting the 7th panel, 7 of 8 different panels, and starting with this photo of myself and Maria Diaz, who later became Maria Benitez, and we're practicing Soleares por Caña in Amor de Dios in Madrid in the 1960s. I think this was 1965. This was a shot doing something. Anyway, that's me, younger, of course, getting ready to perform someplace in concert. Sometimes this wasn't a studio shot. It was, I think I was standing in front of my dressing room. This was an outdoor concert, and arms up. I like this shot of me. Of course, I'm overlapping because this is a collage of photos that are pasted on these boards. So you'll see a little bit of everything. Moving over to here, trying to get out of the reflection. This is me dancing por seguirillas in the Cuevas de Nerja, with Pepín Salazar playing and Andrés Escudero singing, and I can't remember the second guitarist. Pepín Salazar was a wonderful Gitano guitarist from the north, and we went to many fiestas while we were up in San Sebastián and up in the north part of Spain when we were doing the Festivales de España. This is Isabel and I, final pose of Ben Amor, one of our favorite classical pieces to orchestra music by Luna, called Ben Amor. And we had a wonderful repertoire of duets to classical music. Here's me in another whole genre. I used to be a pretty good jazz dancer, and I taught jazz both at the university in Washington State and at my academy in Bellingham. And so I had fun. I like jazz, and it was authentic jazz like Jack Cole and Jerry Robbins type. This is rehearsing again in Amor de Dios. Somebody, maybe Isabel took a shot. This is a photo of us dancing Sevillanas backstage of in Jacob's Pillow, and Isabel and I dancing Sevillanas. And that was a beautiful costume. She made all of her costumes and many of mine. Here I am again practicing in Amor de Dios. Again with this lady that was from South Africa. I don't remember her name, but she played very well, and I would teach her dance and she would play for me. Here's one of our favorite numbers, Pachelbel's Canon with the Northwest Chamber Orchestra. Interesting story about this. I was asked to choreograph this, and I couldn't think of anything until I saw Gibran's poem, "Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone." And I choreographed it in about an hour, and we had great success throughout our tours with this number. Let's see if I can get rid of the reflection. This is in Jacob's Pillow again, doing La Semana Santa performing. Here's part of Paco Bell's canon, one of the final poses, and I love this number. We had a great success with this. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. And this was we got a chance to do it quite a bit with chamber orchestras. This is me teaching my workshop in Bellingham. Started the very first all flamenco 2-week workshop in the United States in 1979. That's Sada de Luis in black downstage, and Nanette Hogan there. That's many memories. That ran for 24 years, every single 2 weeks of August, 1975 on. Here I am teaching in Japan. We had 85 students. We were invited to a Japanese flamenco festival. 14 universities there have brought their students, and I taught a master class for about 85 girls and guys. And Maria Temo and Oscar Nieto and Gary came with me. 1995. Here I'm dancing with the Symphony of Florida Symphony Orchestra and the 3 dances of Turina, Orgia, and the other 2 dances, rehearsing here, and that was exciting. 90-some piece orchestra, wonderful. Here's a pose shot again of Isabel and I with her beautiful bata de cola. We usually danced our soleares in that. Sometimes we would dance our petaneras and serranas petaneras. We had a nice number with that. We had but every duet we could think of that was good for duets, we had choreographed. And that was one of our bigger ones. Here I am in a jazz pose again. I was a good jazz dancer. Here I'm teaching a modern dance class without shoes. I was invited to UCLA, and they said, we don't have shoes, we don't have castanets. And I said, fine, take the shoes off. You don't need shoes for flamenco. And it was a great class. It was fun. Here I am, my martial arts class with Shihan Yamakura, the highest ranking Goju Ryu karate teacher in the United States. And I reached 4th degree black belt. And I loved to study. I related it to flamenco as an art form. And I love studying the martial arts too. Here was a wonderful artist working with. It's Paco Fonta from Jaén, Spain. And this is Gainesville, Florida. We knew each other exactly half hour before this concert. He and I did a duet concert, 3 numbers, and it was like we had worked together forever. He's a wonderful artist, guitarist and singer, and we did everything. It was a proof that if the guitarist and singer know flamenco and a dancer knows flamenco, you don't need to have a big rehearsal. We just did a talk through, and I danced Solear Publidillas, Alegrias, Seguidillas. So here we are, a little bit of everything in the 7th panel of collage with wonderful memories. Okay, starting the 8th and final collage panel. These are our ballet dancer. Isabel ran our academy, Morca Academy of Dance, in Bellingham, Washington for 25 years. And we had wonderful students, wonderful training, wonderful ballet training. And so this panel has some photos of our students. Got some glare there. This is me at the end of my classical bolero. in concert. Here's a finale of our Nutcracker. We did a wonderful Nutcracker in Bellingham. The mayor would announce and the chief of police and everything. And we had really a wonderful family. When Isabel passed away, we had 250 students. And we did Nutcracker every year for 20-some years. Here I am teaching a ballet, a three-cornered hat, to the Delta Festival Ballet in New Orleans, Louisiana. Wonderful group there. And I was there for 2 weeks teaching the three-cornered hat of Manuel de Falla. And that's me teaching. Again, our students, some of our different students here. This is in the Morca Dance Academy. We had a wonderful space in a 100-year-old church. Here's another photo of our dancers. They were wonderful. They got great training. Isabel was a wonderful ballet teacher. Here's another one. Wonderful training. Here's a picture teaching again in my all flamenco workshop. It went on for years and years. 2 weeks every year. The first 2 weeks of August every year from 1975. There's Maria Temo singing at a huerga with Gerardo. At the end of the workshop, we always had a wonderful party and danced all night at the end of 2 weeks. Our students again. We did a lot of touring of K through 12 for the Washington State Arts Commission and other places. And here we are. And teaching school, there's Isabel and I and Geraldo, and that's Linda Vega, a very dear friend of ours. She's in Santa Barbara. And this is at a school and teaching K through 12. Jumping to another genre, this is me teaching a black belt class in Goju Ryu, and wonderful training, serious people, and I love being a student of the martial arts. Here's Isabel and I in Madrid. This was in Victorio Corjan's apartment, taken by a wonderful photographer that was, I think, the Times photographer of Europe. And he actually did a series of photos, and then he set this up. It looks like a pose thing, but we were just sitting in the kitchen and had some wine and bread. It's great. This is a master class in the University of Maine in Orono, Maine. Teresa Torkanowski brought me there. So I was teaching a master class in Maine in the 1980s. Here's Jacob's Pillow. There's Ted Shawn and myself, Benito Palacios, Conte de Loyo, and my students that I taught there. We were there for a week, and that was a wonderful time. Spent a few years at the Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival. Here's one of my very favorite ballet teacher, Misha Panayev. He saw me when I first started to dance, and I would dance at his White Russian parties. Simba, be quiet. My dog barking. Here I am in a jazz pose again, getting ready to teach a jazz class. Here's a photo of the very first flamenco festival in Albuquerque, 1987. And I'm downstage, of course, and there's all of us there. The first dancers, guitarists. See a lot of many wonderful people there that I've known all my life. kids like me. So everywhere I walked around Europe, this is in Granada. A bunch of little Gitanos were kind of wondering what I'm doing there and walking down the street. That's a bunch of kids in Granada someplace, just took a walk. And here's the same thing in Amsterdam. I was walking down the street in Amsterdam and there was a bunch of kids there and I said, let's take a picture. And then the final one is in the Taos Pueblo, Taos Indian Pueblo in Taos, New Mexico. And these students are Geraldine Harvey's students. Geraldine Harvey was Maria Diaz's mother, Maria Benitez now. So, here, final 8 panel. And these are, of course, all older. I have photos, newer ones, but this was a collection that was put together in Costa Rica, and so they're wonderful memories. And finishing up, there's Simba, the flamenco dog. Simba, say something. Simba, speak. Want a biscuit? Bueno, ya está. Thank you, bye-bye.